How's it going, Reef Builders? This is Jake Adams, and I am in Sydney, Australia. And I am here to, among other things, visit a bunch of Reef aquarists. And I'm going to be going to some fish stores here over the next few days and seeing how they do it here in the land down under. So follow along with me as I visit a bunch of Australian shops and reefers, and let's see how they do it the Australian way. Find myself on the south side of Sydney to visit my first ever aquarium store here in Australia. So really excited to come see what kind of products they keep, what their tanks look like, what the fish look like, and everything. So first stop is Majestic Aquariums, and this is a shop that's been around for quite a while. I've already been inside and kind of looked around to see what I wanted to show you guys, but this is a really nice store. It's a great first store to visit here for my Australia travels, and so let's go inside and take a look. So right when you walk into Majestic Aquariums, it's really clear that this is one store that has a lot of character. I really like how the shop is laid out, because right when you walk in, you can see a few display tanks here to your left, all the products and dry goods to your right. And in the back, you have an extensive livestock center for all the fish and corals and freshwater fish as well. And this is actually one of the nicer coral displays I've seen at any reef aquarium store. And it's really marvelous. It's a Red Sea reefer. And for those of you that don't know, throughout the world, we're really lucky and fortunate to have access to a very wide diversity of corals from all over the world, including Australia. But in Australia, they are not permitted to import corals from anywhere else, so they have to rely on their local reefs, which is not too bad because Australia famously has a wide variety and diversity of coral species and colors, not to mention reef fish. So it's really cool to see all these corals, because this is essentially an Australian SPS coral biotope aquarium with virtually no other kinds of corals. There's a few LPS corals tucked into the right places. Like right here, we got some Blastomusa, some Homophilia, and a Symphilia right here prominently placed with like a bright red accent. But man, this tank is just really popping. Excellent colors. So once again, this is a Red Sea reefer, and it's very well put together. The aquarium is lit by an Illumagic Blaze X LED strip light, and it's not quite a strip light, it's a high-powered fixture. But one thing that I really love about this light right now is it's actually on full blast with very little tweaking of the color spectrum. And it's just a bunch of different multi-colored, multi-channel clusters that absolutely fill this tank with light. So the spectrum, the stock spectrum, is nearly perfect to get the colors of these corals truly popping. Underneath the stand, we have a very well organized life support system, controllable return pump, and it's kind of interesting to see Vortec MP10s running right next to some G-bows. But one thing that's really cool about it is you can see in the back of the tank they virtually disappear because they're black, and it's no doubt this tank is not lacking for water flow. Finally, we have an assemblage of dosing pumps here that are each keeping all the elements dosed to the tank on a regular basis, and always makes me happy to see an SPS tank getting a regular additions of Aqua Power. So this is the reef tank here at Majestic Aquarium. Still have a whole bunch to show you. So I'm going to take a quick look at the shelves to see what brands and kinds of products that they have. Interestingly, the first row of products they chose to put along the main thoroughfare is a bunch of aquarium ornaments, a lot of artificial ornaments, which actually can make the tanks look pretty good. We see we've got some Seachem products, some Red Sea, some API test kits, and a variety of aquarium filters. Aquael is a company that we're not familiar with too much in America, not yet anyway, but Eheim is. Got a few fish traps, some various accessories. So yeah, overall, you know, this is a very familiar spread of aquarium products and devices, and wouldn't be too difficult to get acquainted with the catalog of products that are available. This is one company that I've never seen before. It's made in Australia. We got the Ultimate Aqua Care, and I really love the branding on these. Just plain clear bottles, and it's just not that hard to put together good quality additives at fair prices. So this is a brand I'm thinking I'm probably going to be able to see here in Australia quite a bit. So this is the freshwater section of Majestic Aquariums, and Australia is famously prohibitive in the quantity, the diversity, and the species that can be imported into the borders of Australia, because they have a lot of endemic aquatic species. So the diversity of species that's available to Australian reefers, or Australian freshwater aquarists, I should say, is quite restricted, but it still makes me smile to see a nice Williamsine North Blue Lips African cichlid, because this is a relatively recent introduction and a really cool fish. So you'll notice these tanks are mostly air driven. They look like they have an overflow in the back, kind of a common overflow, and some homemade tops. So yeah, so that's the freshwater section. It's a little bit sparse compared to some other places that I've been, but they're still very high quality specimens. And boy, do I love this betta display. Looks like they make a lot of their own glassware, and this is just a perfect way to display this fish. Very cool. You can tell these fish are well taken care of. So before we go to the back and see all the fish and corals for sale, you have to walk by this really large saltwater only fish aquarium. And with Anthony here in the shot, you can get a feel for how big this aquarium is. It's about the size of a shipping container, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was made from. This is actually a really nice saltwater only fish tank. It's got some really large fish in here. The water is clean. You know these fish, as fat as they are, they must be fed quite a bit. But that is not a problem, because upstairs is a substantial filtration system that includes two very large protein skimmers. There's one large reef octopus protein skimmer, as well as one of the taller commercial size of waveline reef life support systems, dual pump needle wheel protein skimmer. So yeah, this is always a really cool attraction to have in a fish store. These used to be more common at aquarium shops around the world. So it's really refreshing to see a tank like this that's filled with a lot of really cool, healthy looking fish. You've probably heard that Australia gets really hot, and I'm actually heating up pretty well. I'm walking from the front of the store here to the back of the shop, where I'm about to take a look at some of the fish and corals. But I just want you to appreciate how hot it is in here, holding this camera and narrating for you guys. So I'm going to switch the camera off my greasy face, and let's take a look at some saltwater livestock. There we go, that's more like it. This is a beautiful, just simply beautiful coral holding aquarium. And it's about the size of a typical 125-gallon aquarium. So I'm guessing about 6 feet long, 2 feet high, 2 feet wide. And I guess that's, what is that, 180 centimeters by 60 by 60 centimeters. So this is a beautiful tank. I love how open this aquarium is. And there's this one really, well, there's an end-to-end shelf holding all these SPS corals in such a way that they are getting the right light, and they're just surrounded by water flow. There's one big pet blue tang who has a curious habit of locking himself onto the pump as if to be massaged by it. But you can see here in the cross section that all this open water just completely allows the water to flow all around the corals. And if this tank was in America, it would be 1,000 frags, not 40 to 50 colonies. And again, the quality of these corals is just really high. They're super duper colorful, and the prices, oh man, don't get me started. In America, these are also in Australian dollars, with most of the corals in this tank running from anywhere between $49 to $90 Australian, so probably around $40 to $60 American. Very cool to see this tank. Equally impressive as the health of the corals is simply the layout and design of these reef aquarium systems. It's just really clean, and it's a familiar layout. This is pretty much how I would set up an aquarium with a, you got a built-in overflow going straight into a mechanical filter. Instead of having live rock in the tank, there's biomedia. You got one reactor chamber, one for GFO, one for activated carbon. Again, the waveline skimmer over here is totally killing it, but without a bunch of sand and live rock in the tank, it has a lot less work to do. However, here's an Abyss pump. This is one of the fanciest pumps you can get for a reef tank. And again, everything is laid out super neat, super crisp. We've got, again, the single a battery of John Lenn individual dosing pumps, and they are feeding these products, these additives from Ultimate Aquacare. That's another Australian brand. Lighting up this tank are the Illumagic Style series LEDs. This is the flagship light from Illumagic, And it uses the same clusters that are in the Blaze X, except each of these clusters is independently controllable. So that's really, really cool. There's 3 channels of color and intensity control, and that can be distributed across any pucks or groups of pucks that you want to do. So that's a really unique feature from this Lumagic style LED fixture. As I turn the corner, I'm greeted by even more beautiful Australian corals. These are kept a lot more dim, but man, are they truly popping. The prices will make your jaw drop too, since these are found really locally. And there's a big carpet of LPS corals and euphyllias. Facing the coral aquariums are some fish aquariums. They're also really, really neat, pristine, no sand, artificial decorations. So you got minimal areas for waste, disease, and pests to build up, and you can see the health of these fish is really, really high. So once again, the livestock is dominated by Australian corals, but there are a few captive raised clownfish right over here, and there's also some yellow tangs from Hawaii. And one thing that really make your jaw drop is the price of these tangs, which are about $100 more than would be in America. So the small yellow tang is $99, and the medium specimen is $119. But I am actually all for some higher prices for yellow tangs, because they should not be a commodity. Again, I'm really, really impressed with the pristine life support system that's on these particular aquariums. The sumps are super clean, everything's presentable. You got really nice needle wheel protein skimmers, and due to the heat of Australia, some of these systems have some really big chillers. So this is a 2 horsepower chiller, and it's not the only one. I can just imagine what the electricity bill of this place is, since they run so many chillers on top of the already energy hungry aquarium devices that we tend to use on large systems. So we're almost done with the tour of Majestic Aquariums. Just want to show you the one last section over here. There's a few more small fish, some livestock holding, got a bunch of yellow trevallies, very, very cool display right here. And one of my favorite sharks, the epaulette. And again, another battery of huge chillers. These each 1 horsepower chiller. So together, all the chillers that I've seen so far pull about 8 horsepower on their own. And then finally, I really want people to notice that these cleaner shrimp are really rare in Australia. These are priced at $149 a piece, or $279 a pair. So it's about a 10 times price difference compared to what we're used to in America and Europe. Really, really wild. So it's important to be thankful for what you got. I'm really thankful that I got to visit this shop. This is one of the nicest shops I've seen in quite a long time. And since this is...
So I kind of ran out of steam at the end of that very long narration, but thankfully I shot a bunch of extra clips to highlight some of the coolest fish and corals I saw at Majestic Aquariums. It was a real treat to visit Majestic Aquariums, and the owner, Paul Talbot, has definitely set a high bar for the rest of my visits here in Australia. The shop really has a little bit of everything for all kinds of aquarium tastes. The giant aquarium with jumbo fish is a rare sight, and the reef tanks and corals are absolutely impeccable. I was really, truly impressed by how these systems are set up and how they look. So Paul is actually one of the OG aquarium YouTubers, so you definitely want to go and check out the Majestic Aquarium's YouTube channel, as it features a ton of information on a wide variety of topics. I really hope you enjoyed following me along on my first tour of an Australian fish store. If you like this video, definitely be sure and smash that thumbs up button. Consider sharing it with people you know who might like it, because your support really helps the channel. And most importantly, you'll definitely want to subscribe, because my Australia adventures are just beginning and there's a lot more to come. So keep it locked to Reef Builder's video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.